and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rusimangobeni, your legal connoisseur, here to make legal knowledge both comprehensible and within your reach. You are most welcomed to my YouTube channel, and I do hope that you stay. I am perfectly known as Becoming Advocate Ngobeni on all my social media platforms, and that is TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So do make sure that you please do follow me there. Today we are going to have an interesting conversation, and that is how do you get your marks from 50s to high marks like 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I do think that I'm the perfect person to make this video because I am speaking from experience. So in my first year of my BA, guys, I was so average. I was, in my mind, it was just a thing of, you know what, I just have to pass. And yes, I did pass, but the reality is that had I continued getting those marks, I would have probably never made it to LLB. Even in LLB, had I just had the mentality that I had in my first year of BA, I wouldn't probably have even graduated. Maybe graduated, yes, but not graduated with high marks, because it's not that I was failing. I was just getting 51, 52, 60, and obviously with like modules like politics, because I do love politics. That's when I'd score like your 70s and all of that. But the others, in my head, it was like, let me at least get a 50 to get by. But the reality is, when you are somebody who's going to be looking for employment immediately after you graduate, those marks are going to open doors for you before your appearance or your articulation and things like that are going to do that. Yes, the first thing that they'll look at is your CV, but in most instances they'll look at your academic record. So as somebody who maybe you want to be a candidate attorney or you want to be a people advocate, I do think that it's imperative that you keep your marks at an all-time high. Obviously there is a difference between you applying at the bar and applying at like big five law firms and things like that, because with law firms it's very strict to a point that you need to get a minimum maybe of 65 and above or 70 and above in order for them to even consider you for recruitment. Whereas at the bar, I would say, even though they do emphasize you having high marks, they do look at your overall. So it will be, what were you doing? What are the experiences that you bring to the bar? So your marks are not really going to keep the door closed. But when you're applying for big five firms, those marks are definitely going to keep the door closed. Even if you may be an excellent person in terms of leadership and all of these things, if you've got, let's say, an average of 50, you're definitely not going to make it to the big five, because the first thing that their minimum requirements is that you must at least have 65 and above. Whereas at the bar, they'll look at each and everything in detail, and they'll also give you an opportunity to say, what are the things that you may have gone through during your years of study that you think hindered your academic abilities, which that is important, because I know with me, the year that I was applying for my pupillage, guys, I was just a new mom, and juggling motherhood and final year was really stressful, and there was a little bit of a drop in terms of my marks, and I'm so grateful that that didn't stop me from getting higher marks or getting even the opportunity that I so wanted, which is to come to the bar. I really tried my best, but what I'm trying to communicate with you guys is that there is a difference between the two. If you are going to the bar, please make sure that you still keep your marks high, but also make sure, guys, that you are participating in mood competitions, you are in leadership structures, you are building your CV. If there is anything that you can do, please do it, because those things count more. You can't just be a student that has got 80% and then that's it. You at least have to be more than that. I hope it makes sense. Let's get into the recording. I did write some things down courtesy of my laptop. I did write some things down just so that I don't forget them, because I do feel like these 10 things are things that I did to keep my marks high, especially when I was doing my LLB. Like I said, I did experience a significant drop when it came to my final year compared to the other years, because I just became a new mom. But they didn't drop that much as well, because I was still making sure that I study and I still put in the effort. All right. So the first thing and the first advice that I would give you, if you're someone that performs between 50 to 60 and that's your average and you want to get a bit higher, is understand what law school wants from you. And what do I mean by this, guys? Law is not about your memory. So it's not about the recollection of your memory. It's about your ability to analyze and structure as well as formulate arguments. That's what law school wants from you. That's what they're teaching you. Another thing is that they're also teaching you research. They want to see, can you research? Are you a problem solver? So whether or not you can regurgitate and give them the information will not matter. Are you applying the principles that they are teaching you to the facts that they're giving you in a test or exams? So understand what they expect you to learn at the end of your LLB. You need to be able, one, to do an analysis. You need to be able, one, to argue, like properly structured arguments. And three, you need to also have to be able to research. I think those are by far the most important things when it comes to law school. Then two is master your IPAC. Master your IPAC. This basically goes to reading cases for understanding. Guys, if you do not know how to do IPAC or FIRAC, you are in trouble. Because how are you going to be able to read cases for understanding? So you need to master that. I always say that, get that in your first year of study. And when you're in first year, understand that, get those principles, know how to do your FIRAC, know how to do your IPAC, because it is going to help you as time goes. In anything that you're going to do, you're going to realize that you're going to want the facts of the case, you're going to want the legal principles, you are going to want what the issues are, and all of those things. You're going to want those things. So get onto it now. Get that skill. It's a very important one. Then the third one that I wrote here is use case law and read as much as possible. The greatest way for you to become a legal writer and somebody that really can articulate themselves through heads of arguments, legal opinions, and things like that, it's by you reading other people's writing in the profession. It's about you reading. You need to read as many people's writing as possible. If you can read cases, please read cases. It will teach you how to articulate. It will teach you how to write in formal language. It will teach you also just how to explain and how an analysis is done. So the more cases you read, the better for you. And then number 4 is quality over quantity. Quality over quantity, guys. I always say that if you cannot explain what the whole case is about, right, in 2 minutes of me listening to you, then that's a problem. Quality over quantity. I used that when I was writing exams and things like that. I realized that I struggled so much with finishing my exams initially in the beginning, mostly because I used to feel like the more pages you write, the more marks you're going to get. But quite frankly, if you are writing 3 pages of utter nonsense, you're not going to get those marks. So focus on the quality of your writing than the quantity of your writing. Get that first, and then maybe we'll deal with quantity later on, but quality is the most important thing. So do not over repeat stuff and things like that and say things that are unnecessary. Give the lecturers what they want. Explain it. If you feel like you want to explain, keep it simple, just so that people know exactly what you're trying to say and what you're trying to communicate. Because sometimes the more you write, the more you even start confusing yourself and just regurgitating and repeating the same thing that you probably wrote in the 3rd paragraph, but now it's on the 16th paragraph because you feel like the more you write is the more marks you're gonna get. No, it does not work like that. Do not do that to yourself. Then number 5, I said have active revision techniques. What do I mean by active revision techniques? You look at your question paper when you've written a text, you sit there, you see, where did I get wrong? You look for the answers. If you've got the memo, great. Then you see where you went wrong. Also, please consult with your lecturers. Go to your lecturer and tell them, listen, I got this wrong, but in my head, this is what I was thinking. Where did I go wrong? And let them explain it to you. Those are active revision techniques. And also, how you can do revision when you're just studying before you even write your test is that, please, guys, the reason why there is the library and the reason why you can have access to past exam papers or past test papers in university website is for you to be able to go through it, and it's for you to be able to learn. So please do not shoot yourself on the foot and not have those papers. And quite frankly, most of the questions tend to repeat sometimes. So just make sure that you have gone through it and you read it, right? Feedback is gold. This is the 6th one. Feedback is gold. Honestly, if you just wrote an assignment, please, even if you got 70, go find out why you didn't get 75. If you got 80, go find out why you didn't get 85. All right. If you feel like you deserved full marks, go to that lecture, engage them, and find out why you didn't get those marks. Because why? Feedback is gold. And why is feedback gold? Because it teaches you how to tackle the questions the next time, and the mistakes that you made in the first test will definitely not be the mistakes that you make on the third test, because you would have consulted and they would have picked those things up for you. Then number 7, I said refine your writing style. Be clear, concise, and persuasive. You need to be able to articulate yourself on paper in a way that when someone is reading it, they'll be sold. And that's just that's the art of law. If you think about it, it is the art of law. It basically says to you, this person knows what they're talking about. This person knows their principles and things like that. So it's very important for you to do that. And then 8 is study groups. Oh, guys, in varsity, guys, I had study groups, and I studied alone, and then I had study groups and all of that. But what I'm trying to say is that collaboration is very important. And I even saw it when I was doing my pupillage, where my friends, oh my goodness, guys, I had an amazing group of friends when I was doing my pupillage that we really sat together, motivated each other, and saw each other through pupillage. Guys, it's a very important thing to have, and you start that in varsity. Have an amazing study group where you guys can do revision. And what we used to do, I remember, is that we used to also, you know, when you have a list of the cases that you must go through, and there are a lot, if you trust each other's work enough, you can say, please read this case, I'll read this case, and the other person reads this case, and then we are going to share the summaries and explain them to one another. Yes, obviously you are going to go back and read it yourself, but it's going to be quicker this time because you would have gotten a summary from somebody who really understands. And it must be people that you trust, because also you don't want people that you do not trust and then now they give you the wrong summary. I always say, even if somebody gives you a summary, please go read it yourself, because you may just have a different understanding to it, and maybe your understanding is the correct one, and now you failed because you just decided, this person's summary is good enough, I'm just going to move with it. All right. Number 9, speak to top students. Find out who got a higher mark in what assignment and approach them. Why do I think this is important? You ask them, hi, I saw you got, 89% on your assignment. Do you mind if I could read it? Or if that is too much for them, you can say, do you mind giving me pointers on how you tackled your assignment? The biggest weapon that you're ever going to have as a human being is your ability to know people you can learn from. And sometimes people you can learn from are people also in your peer group. That is imperative, right? Then number 10 is believe you belong in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I know this one, obviously, believe. But genuinely, I used to tell myself that if I didn't do good in something, I must at least get 65%. And mind you, I would make sure that I get above that. And I also say that if your goal is to get 80, you need to write it as 90. Because sometimes, even when you fall short, you are still at least going to be in your 80s, and you're still going to be super proud of yourself. But believe that, set a mark that is a fail according to you. Not according to somebody else, according to you. It must be, what mark do you think, had you gotten, it will be a clear fail. So yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get from your 50s to your 80s and 90s. And I do hope that this does help. Please, should you try and actually implement this, please let me know how it works out for you. And should you get a high mark, to say that, okay, I moved from this mark to this mark because of what you told me, text me on Instagram. Let me know. We will send you a gift, because one thing that I want to do is this platform is for excellence, and I want you guys to continuously improve. So that is all for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. I don't know what the next video is, but I do know that the people in the My Lawful Journey group requested a few videos. Another one is about how to read cases for your own understanding. I did a TikTok live explaining that, but I'll definitely do a video where then I do a video of how do you read a case for understanding, and then also how do you do a case analysis, because I think how you read a case for understanding and how you do a case analysis is two different things, but you guys will see those in the next coming videos. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who has followed this page this far. Please guys, ask people to follow and get as many people to the side of YouTube. This is a very educational platform, and I honestly wanted to just be that educational, inspiring. And if there's anything that you have in terms of like advices that you can give to people who are trying to get their marks up, please comment in the comment section below. I always love the fact that in as much as I'm sharing my experiences and my skills with you guys also teach me a lot. I also learn a lot from you guys, especially with the people who will DM me on Instagram or like on TikTok, or during my lives people will speak to me. I learn so much on a daily basis from you guys, and like I'm saying, guys, you need the art of improvement in life is knowing who to learn from. And I don't just learn from my superiors, but I also learn from people who are currently in varsity right now and have access to information that maybe I don't have access to, and that is a beautiful mentality to have. So I'll see you guys in my next one. Do take care of yourself. Bye.